We'll start in child's pose, but if that shape doesn't feel okay for your ankles, your feet, or your knees, or any other part of your body at this point of the day, then I want you to take a different shape. If child's pose feels fine, you're just going to rest the tops of your feet on the floor, big toes touching, and you can either choose to have your knees together or nice and wide apart. And I'm just going to ease the tailbone back towards the heels and make sure the forehead is supported. Okay, so you're welcome to stack your hands into your forehead or grab a block. You can also just rest your forehead on the floor and stretch your arms back. The main thing is to take your time to get settled in here. So make sure that there is no pain in your body and that you adjust your body, your posture until you feel comfy and at ease. And once you've found that comfortable shape, you can close your eyes or soften your gaze. And start to allow the weight of the body to sink into the mat. Anywhere you feel in your body that you're holding on or making an effort, see if you can soften and let that go a little bit. Relaxing your abdomen as you breathe in and out of your nose. Let that breath gradually deepen so that each time you breathe in, the belly expands a little bit, lower back expands. And then as you breathe out, you continue to let the weight of the body sink into the floor. Feeling welcome to readjust your posture anytime you need to. As your breath deepens, let's start to invite some of that expansion of the inhale into the sides of the torso. A nice big breath in. Let's reach our palms forward in front of us, taking the hands shoulder width apart with the fingers spread wide. And slowly draw yourself up to your hands and your knees, placing your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. It might feel nice to tuck the toes at this point. You could also leave the tops of the feet flat on the floor. And then we're just start to notice the sound of your breathing. Maybe amplifying that sound by gently narrowing the back of the throat through Ujjayi breath. And then next time you breathe out, let's push the floor away from us with our palms and round the back. The big full inhale, lift your tailbone up, let the belly drop towards the floor as you lift your chest and lift your gaze. And we'll exhale to round through the spine. Listening to your breathing, let your breath guide your movement. And the next time you exhale, keep the back rounded for a few breaths. I'm going to give you two options here. One option is to rest the tops of the feet on the floor, sinking back into child's pose, especially if that's what's best for your feet or your ankles today. Next option would be to tuck the toes under, bring the knees and the feet together. And then as much as feels safe for your body, slowly start to shift your pelvis back so that you add a little more weight over the feet and start to stretch a little more through the toes, through the balls of the feet. And making sure you're not creating any pain in your body. So you can ease out of this anytime you need to. If you want this to be a deeper opening, you can continue to shift your weight back till you're sitting on your heels. So you might need to add a cushion or a block between your seat and your heels just to give your knees a little more space. We're going to think of our heels reaching back. You might need to reach down and just tuck the pinky toes under. Sometimes they get forgotten. I want you to keep your lower jaw relaxed, your breath nice and steady. And then as you inhale, let's walk ourselves forward, whether you're in child's pose or stretching open through the feet. I want you to shift forward onto your hands and your knees. You're going to tuck your toes, wiggle your toes, and roll your ankles, or lightly tap the tops of the feet on the floor. Get the blood flowing. And then let's walk ourselves back on our mat slightly so that we have more space out in front of us. I want you to place your knees underneath your hips. Draw your navel towards your spine. And then step your palms forward towards the top of your mat, taking your hands shoulder width apart. Spreading wide through your fingers and pressing down into the knuckles of your hands and your fingertips. Keep your core engaged as you exhale. Your chest and your head get a little heavier. You can keep your ears in between your upper arm bones or let your head hang down. If this feels like too much for the upper body right now, child's pose is there for you. So listen to your joints. We're going to keep our hips up high unless we're taking child's pose. And then big full breaths, think of opening up all the way around the rib cage. Draw your navel towards your spine. Let's inhale, walking ourselves back up to our hands and our knees. With the tops of the feet on the floor, big toes touching. Take an exhale, sink your tailbone towards your heels and come back into child's pose. Okay. You want to rest the shoulders. So you can either stack your hands into your forehead or invite your hands back beside your feet. Focusing in again on the sound of your breath. Big breath in. Let's stretch your palms forward in front of us. Look up to the top of the mat and come forward onto the belly. Your legs reaching back behind you. We're going to open up our chest a little bit more. So I want you to extend your right arm out to the side in line with your shoulder, palm facing down. And then touch your right cheek down onto the floor. You place your left fingertips on the floor with your left elbow pointing up towards the sky. And then bend your left knee so your left toes point up towards the ceiling. Keeping your right arm in line with your shoulders, you inhale, slowly start to roll towards the right, pausing whenever we feel a stretch across the chest and no pain in our shoulder. And you can either bend your knees and stack your legs, or you could step your left toes back behind you, pointing your left knee up towards the sky. I want you to let your right cheek and your right arm stay really heavy. Notice how your breath feels. If you feel great here, maybe you take your left hand to your lower back. And touching your left fingertips down to the floor as you inhale, let's carefully roll back to the center. And taking a moment here in the middle, just loosen up through your neck and your shoulders, your lower back. And then we're going to stretch our left arm out to the side in line with our shoulder, palm facing down. Rest your left cheek down onto the floor, and then right fingertips on the ground, right toes point towards the ceiling. You want to make sure your left arm stays in line with your shoulder. As you inhale, carefully roll towards that left arm. Legs can stack here, or you can step your right toes back behind you. You should check in with your neck. Make sure you're not holding tension in your neck. You can linger where you are or take your right hand to your lower back, making sure that doesn't create any discomfort in your shoulder or your neck. Touching your right fingertips down onto the floor. As you inhale, carefully roll yourself back to the middle. And again, loosen up to your neck, your shoulders, and your lower back. And then sliding your palms underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers wide. Contract your abdominal muscles as you inhale. Press yourself up to your hands and your knees. Then we're going to place our wrists slightly ahead of our shoulders, with the knees into the hips and the toes tucked under. Engaging through the core, let's inhale, lift the hips up high and come to downward dog. The feet are hip width apart here, tailbone lifting up towards the ceiling, sink down through the knuckles of the hands and the fingertips. You're welcome to take child's pose at any time, so you always listen to your breath and your body. If it feels good here, you can walk your heels up and down a little bit, opening up through the backs of the legs. I want you to think of lengthening through your spine as much as you can. So hips lifting up as you inhale, chest getting a little heavier as you exhale. You're welcome to stay here in down dog or come down to child's pose for a few breaths. If you want to build a little more heat in the body, let's contract through the core, take a breath in, come forward to plank. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. If your knees are lifted, I want you to engage your leg muscles, lengthen through the back of the neck. You're also welcome to touch your knees down to the floor for a little more support. Let's try to unlock the elbows, push the floor away from you with your palms. Soft lower jaw. And a nice long breath out, press back to down dog. With a big deep breath in, let's walk our feet forward towards our hands. You can bend your knees as much as you need to, walking up towards the top edge of your mat. Placing your feet hip width apart and parallel, soften your neck. Option to hold your elbows with your palms, letting the upper body dangle. Allowing your arms to hang down, draw your chin towards your chest. Then contract your abdominal muscles, inhale and roll yourself up to standing. And then walk up the legs for more support. Once your head lifts up, roll your shoulders back and down. Softening through the fingers, pressing down into the soles of the feet. Take a few deep breaths here, listening to the sound of your breathing. And spreading up through the toes, rooting down through the soles of the feet. Engaging your abdominal muscles. Let's inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. We're going to come to temple mudra. So interlace your fingers, index fingers pointing up towards the sky. Let your shoulders soften down away from your ears. I'm going to continue to draw the navel towards the spine. Think of the front ribs hugging towards the back ribs. And the next time you exhale, take a little bend to the right. If that feels like too much today, right palm can always lower down to the right leg to support you. So listen to your body. Maintain the steadiness of your breath. As you breathe in, let's return to center. Keep the core turned on. We'll exhale over to the left side. The left palm could come down to the left thigh for more support. Try to make a little more space between your ears and your shoulders, rooting down through the feet. Big breath in. Let's come back to the middle. As you exhale, draw your hands down to your chest. We're going to press our palms together in front of our chest. And then the nice big breath in. Lift your chest up towards your thumbs. Engaging your core as you exhale, bend your knees, sitting back into chair pose. We want our spine to stay nice and long here. You should be able to see your big toes. If your breath is very steady, you can stay here or inhale, extending the arms. Maybe hands a little wider than the shoulders. Help the shoulders soften. As you exhale, draw your hands together and let's fold all the way forward. With a nice big breath in, take your hands to your shins or your thighs and lift up halfway, creating a nice long spine, chest parallel to the floor. And then breathing out, fold forward. Touching your fingertips down to the ground, engage your core as you inhale. Take a big step back with your right foot. As you exhale, lower your right knee down. You can cushion that knee if that feels better for your joint. Let's make sure the left knee, front knee, is right over top of the ankle. And then you can stay here today. Maybe you add some support underneath your palms, reaching the chest forward, lengthening the spine. Or you can breathe in, take your hands to your left thigh as you lift up through your sternum. Your breath is nice and deep and even. You're welcome to inhale and stretch your fingertips up over your head. And if you feel really steady there, you can take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And with the breath out, let's lower our palms down, all the way down to the mat, fingers spread wide. Contracting your abdominal muscles, tuck your back toes under as you inhale, lift your right knee, lift your hips, step your left foot back to down dog. You're also welcome to make your way straight into child's pose if that feels better. If you're in downward dog, you can stay there. Or contract your core, inhale, come forward again into plank pose. Knees can touch down or forearms can come down. Modify this to suit your body. With a breath out, let's all touch our knees down to the earth. Option one is to take tailbone to heels, come to child's pose. Option two, you're gonna look forward, lift your tailbone up, shoulders out over the fingertips, elbows hugging in tight. We're gonna exhale, lower the chin and the chest down to the floor. And then touch down through the pelvis, tops of the feet and the forehead, lengthening through the back of the body. Keeping your core turned on, inhale, reach your head and chest forward and up into cobra, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. With an exhale, lower the chest and the head. Your big breath in, back to your hands and your knees. You can exhale to child's pose or downward dog, whatever feels good for you. Wherever you're choosing to be, I want you to close your eyes or soften your gaze and focus in on your breath. Let's all meet in downward dog. Toning the abdominal muscles. As you inhale, lift your right heel up towards the ceiling, keeping your hips squared towards the floor. And then exhale, lift up the right foot up between the hands till the knee is over the ankle. I want you to plant your left wrist underneath your left shoulder, so option to add a block underneath that palm. And your back knee can stay lifted, but it can also touch down to the earth. Whichever option you choose, let's inhale. Open the right arm, twisting towards the front thigh. Gazing wherever your neck feels comfy. Make sure that front knee stays right over top of your ankle. If your back knee is lifted, I want you to press your back heel away from you. Let's take a breath out. Lower the right palm. We're going to gaze forward. Reach your fingertips out in front of us to blocks or the mat. And then tucking the back toes under, lifting the back knee up. Let's inhale, step the back foot forward. Take as many hops as you need to come to a forward fold. Feet hip width apart and parallel. Drawing your navel towards your spine, hands to shins or thighs. Let's inhale, lift up halfway. Welcome to bend the knees a little here to help you lengthen your spine. And then exhale and fold forward. Rooting down through the soles of the feet. Big breath in with super arms wide. Take the chest forward and up, stretching the fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhale the hands down to the heart. And pausing here. Slow down your breath. Pressing the palms together, let's inhale, lift the sternum up towards the thumbs. Knee to the core, exhale, sitting back again into chair pose. You choose the depth of that bend in your knees. You take your body to a place where your breath can stay steady. If it's steady, maybe you inhale, lengthen the arms here. As you breathe out, palms come together. We're going to fold all the way forward. Big breath in, fingertips to the mat, hands to shins or thighs. Let's lift up halfway. Exhale and fold forward. Contracting through your core. Inhale, left foot steps back this time. As you exhale, we'll lower that left knee down. Welcome to take support underneath the palms here. Or inhale, hands to the front thigh, lifting up through the chest. You want to think of a long, low back here. So draw the navel in, little drawing of the tailbone down towards the earth. That opens up the front of the left thigh a little bit more. If you feel good here, you're welcome to breathe in, stretch your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Okay, you take your gaze where you feel comfy. You can also close your eyes. Keep softening the shoulders down away from the ears. And breathing out, lowering your palms all the way down to the floor, fingers spread wide, engage your core. With your back toes tucked, lift your back knee, lift your hips high. We'll inhale, stepping back to down dog or child's pose. If you're in downward dog, you're welcome to linger there or engage your core. Inhale, coming forward again into plank pose. Taking your body into that nice long line or perhaps touching the knees down if that's better for your breath. With an exhale, let's all touch the knees to the mat. Child's pose is there for you, or you can lift the tailbone, gaze forward, hug the elbows in. Slowly as you breathe out, lower your chest and your chin. Coming all the way down onto the belly. Lengthen through the back of the neck, tops of the feet heavy. We'll inhale forward into cobra. Exhale, lowering down. And breathing in, pressing back to your hands and your knees, exhaling to child's pose or down dog. Deepen your inhalations. Lengthen your exhalations. All come back to downward dog. And from there, contract your core, hips stay square towards the floor. We'll inhale, left heel towards the ceiling, flexing that left ankle. Exhaling, left foot up between the hands. Helping that foot forward till your knee is over your ankle. With your right wrist underneath your right shoulder. So supporting that palm if that feels better. Back knee can also touch down if you like. We'll inhale, left arm opens, twisting towards the front thigh. Keep hugging your front thigh in towards you. If this feels like too much for your shoulder, left palm could come down onto the hip. And as you breathe out, let's lower the left arm down. Reach your fingertips forward in front of you. Look forward, tucking your back toes. Lift your right knee. Inhale, step that back foot forward, coming into a forward fold. Next big breath in, core supporting you. Let's lift up halfway. And breathe out and fold forward. And deep breath in, arms go wide. Take the chest forward and up, sweeping up towards the ceiling. Exhale, palms to heart center at the chest. And close your eyes or soften your gaze. Feel the rise and fall of your breathing. Let's fix our gaze on one spot that isn't moving. You contract through the core. As you inhale, lift your right knee up in front of you. And then slowly with control, as you exhale, take a big step back with that right foot. Touching your toes down, lower your heel down. Let's come into warrior one to start with. So front knee over the ankle, back toes turned in deeply, back heel pressing down into the earth. Option one, you can stay here. Option two, we're going to stick our hands behind us. Start with bent elbows, interlace your fingers. If that feels great, your breath is still steady, then perhaps you extend your arms. Think of the knuckles of the hands stretching down towards your back heel. Keep hugging front ribs in, navel in. Last option, sinking down into your right heel. Engage your core as you breathe out. You can relax the chest forward. And if it feels okay for neck and shoulders, lift the knuckles of the hands up towards the ceiling. And we want to not just sink all of our weight onto that front thigh. So we're supporting ourselves with our core by staying heavy in that back heel. With the breath out, let's all lower our hands down to the mat. Spreading the fingers wide. Lift your back heel up. With your next breath in, step back to downward dog or child's pose. If you're in down dog, you can linger there, or you can follow your breath through a vinyasa. Inhaling forward into plank. Exhaling to lower knees, chest, and chin, or come down to chaturanga. Breathing in to cobra. Breathing out to lower. Inhaling, taking yourself to child's pose or down dog. I want you to choose to be wherever your breath is the deepest. Let's all find our way to downward dog. And from there, contracting through your core, take a breath in, lift the right heel up towards the sky. And breathing out, right foot steps forward between the hands, right knee over the ankle. Lower your left heel down to the earth, left toes turned in a little bit. We want to find that right heel to left arch alignment. And then engaging your abdominal muscles. Let's inhale, wiggle the arms up to a warrior two. And then turn your right hand to face the ceiling. As you exhale, left fingertips stretch back to the left leg, right arm can reach up. And still bend that right knee over the ankle, pressing down into the outside edge of your left foot. And soften through your shoulders. And I want you to gaze wherever your neck feels comfortable. Contracting through your core as you inhale, take your arms back to shoulder height. Let's straighten our front leg, pressing down into the ball of the right foot. And then exhale, stretch out over that right thigh. Right hand can touch down to support you. Left palm can come to the hip or left hand towards the ceiling. Triangle pose. It doesn't matter how low that right hand gets. I want you to focus on the length and the size of the torso. Often the higher up the hand is, the longer the torso is. So you find that place in your body. And then deepen your breath. And contracting through your core, take a breath in. Slowly draw yourself up. With an exhale, let's take our hands together in front of the chest. I want you to heel toe your back foot in just a little bit closer. Turn your toes in deeply. We're going to pivot around to face our front leg, bending into our right knee. Okay, so one option. You're going to stay here in your warrior one. Take your feet a little closer together if you need to, so that back heel can climb easily onto the floor. Option two, pivot on the ball of that back foot. Come to high lunge. Lifting up through the chest. Hands can stay together at the heart, or you can inhale, reach the arms up. Here with the breath out, let's all lower our arms down. Taking your hands onto blocks or the floor out in front of you, lifting up through your back heel. I want you to look forward and engage your core. Okay, option one, you're just going to step forward to a forward fold. Option two, we're going to inhale, shift our weight onto our front foot, lift that left heel up, and exhale, folding into a standing split. And we want to flex that back ankle and engage our left leg muscles. Coming down from this anytime you need to. As much as possible, try to square through the hips. And then nice and slow as you breathe out, let's lower that left foot down to a forward fold. Take your time. And eventually planting the left foot down so the feet are hip width apart and parallel. With a strong core supporting, you can have fingertips on the floor, hands to shins or thighs. We'll inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to release. Big breath in, arms go wide, reach forward and up. Exhale the palms down. Pausing here. Feel the sensation of your breath. And fixing your gaze on one point that isn't moving, engaging through your core. Let's inhale. Left knee lifts up in front of you. And then slowly with control as you exhale, step that left foot back behind you. Toes touch down, heel touches down. Coming into that warrior one shape. So right knee over the ankle, back heel pressing into the mat, toes turned in deeply. You can pause here or breathe in. Sweep your hands behind you. Start with bent elbows, interlace your fingers, and notice the alignment of your spine. So we want ribs over hips here. Rather than taking our arms back and pressing the ribs forward, let's contain the ribs, work on our shoulder mobility, lengthen through the spine. Option as you exhale to extend your arms. And then if your breath is super deep and even, contract through your core, press down into your back heel. We're going to fold our torso forward, lifting the knuckles of the hands up. We want to think of drawing the belly away from that front thigh. I'm going to challenge your balance more. Gaze back towards your back toes. Be careful with this. Don't go head over heels. Exhale, lowering the hands all the way down towards the earth. Lifting up through that left heel. Punch your palms on the floor and engage your core. Inhale, down dog or child's pose. You can stay exactly where you are. If you're in down dog, you can also follow your breath through a vinyasa. Being really mindful of elbows and shoulders as you take your 8-point pose or chaturanga. And eventually lingering in child's pose or down dog, whatever feels best for your body. Keep listening for the sound of your breathing. And let's all meet in downward dog. Toning the abdominals. Take a big breath in. Left heel lifts up towards the sky. Left ankle flexed. Exhale. Left foot up between the hands. Touching your back heel down. Back toe straighten just a little bit. Find that heel to arch alignment. With your left knee over your ankle. Inhale. Inhale the arms up to warrior two. And we'll turn the left palm to face the sky. As you exhale, right hand reaches back. Left fingertips stretch up. Drawing your navel in towards the spine to support your lower back, and then soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Now let's inhale, arms out from the shoulders, straightening through your left leg. Keep a micro bend in that knee. And as you exhale, reach out over your left thigh, lengthen through both sides of the torso. Left hand can touch down, right palm to hip, or fingertips reach up. Pressing down into the ball of your left foot, down through the outside edge of your right foot. Drawing strength from your core. Let's inhale, drawing up, arms out from the shoulders. I'm going to exhale, hands together at the chest. You can walk your back foot in a little closer, shortening your stance slightly, turning your right toes in deeply as you pivot to face the top of the mat, bending the left knee over the ankle. Okay, so option one, stay here, warrior one. Option two, pivoting on the ball of the back foot, lifting your right heel, lift up through your chest. Maybe you inhale and extend the arms up. Breathing out, lowering the arms down. Touching your hands down to blocks or the floor out in front of you. Let's lift up through that back heel and gaze forward. Remembering your options. First option, step straight forward into a forward fold. Second option is you inhale, shift your weight onto your left foot, lift up through your right heel. Exhale, folding your torso towards your thigh. And then slowly with control, as you breathe out, let's lower that right leg down. Take your time. And when that right foot arrives back down on the mat, feet are hip width apart, folding forward. Contracting through your core, big breath in, let's lift up halfway one more time. Exhale, folding forward. Sweeping the arms wide. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, palms to the chest. Take a moment here and steady your breath. With your next breath in, sweeping the arms back up overhead. Touch your palms together and engage your core. Exhale, draw hands through center, fold all the way forward. We're going to hang out here in our forward bend for a few breaths, so feel free to deepen the bend in the knees if that's easier on the low back. You can hold your elbows or the backs of your legs, or just let your arms dangle. Find what feels good. As you breathe out, releasing your hands down towards the floor. You can come straight down to sitting, or if it feels safe for your joints, walk your feet wider than your hips, turn your toes out a little bit, and carefully lower down into a squat. And if your heels lift up, I want you to tuck some support under the heels. And lift up through the chest. Hands can stay down on the ground, or palms can connect. Return to that big belly breath. As you breathe out, touching your hands down to the floor, carefully make your way down to sitting. Stretch your legs forward for a moment, give them a shake. And then from here, leaning into your right hand, I want you to sweep your feet over to the left, and we're going to take our legs to 90-degree angles. I'm trying to avoid Ziggy, because if I bump him, he'll get mad at me. So you want your front leg bent at 90 degrees, knee straight out in front of your hip, okay, ankle flexed. And then your left leg can be a little further forward, so knee further forward, closer towards your right heel. That'll be easier on that left hip. If you want to deepen this, you're going to slide that shape back. Take that leg to 90 degrees also, a little more of an opening down the front of that hip. So find what feels okay for you. And then hands on the floor, lift up through your chest. You breathe down into the belly, nice big breath in. And keep drawing the top of your right foot towards your shin. You can stay here, or with a nice long spine, use your exhale, start to lean forward over your front thigh. And we're going to think of our shoulders squaring towards the earth. And here you might want to take support under your hands or your elbows or anywhere else that feels good. Continue to reach your chest forward as your torso lowers. Noticing your breath here. If this feels really comfy for your body, spine's nice and long, you're right out over your front thigh, you want to deepen this a little bit, you're going to keep that front leg anchored and just walk your torso a little further to the left. And with the support of your palms, let's inhale, slowly press the torso back up. And then leaning into your right hand again, sweep your legs forward, give them a little shake. And then we'll plant our left hand on the floor beside us, lean in that direction, sweep the feet over to the right. Okay, so same thing, we're gonna take our left knee at 90 degrees this time, left knee right out in front of the left hip, ankle flexed. And then that right knee can come forward a little bit if that's easier on your hip, or you can slide that right leg back, opening up more through the front of the hip. Okay. We'll take a big breath in, lengthen up through the spine. And if it feels safe for your body, you can think of that right hip pressing forward a little bit. And then you're welcome to linger here or use your exhale, start to lean forward. Maintaining as much length in your spine as you can. Start by squaring your chest towards the ground. You add in whatever support feels good for your body. Making sure there's no pain in that front knee. If you want to deepen this, carefully walk your upper body a little further to the right. Breathing in, pressing the torso back up. And leaning into your left palm so you can sweep your legs forward, shake them out. And then you're welcome to sit up on the edge of a cushion or a block. Just to help your spine lengthen, help the tailbone to untuck. We'll stretch both legs forward in front of us and take our knees and our feet together today. We're flexing at the ankles. The tops of the feet draw towards the shins, toes pointing up towards the sky. If you know your lower back's feeling tender or the backs of the legs feel quite tight today, you can right away take a bend into the knees if that feels good for you. And then let's interlock the thumbs, lift up through the sternum, engage the core. Inhale, stretch your arms up over your head, get a little bit taller. And then as you exhale, hinge from your hips, folding forward over the legs. Letting the hands touch down either onto the legs or beside them. Soften the elbows, soften the shoulders. Let your head be heavy if that feels good for you. And show me breathe in. Have a sense that the sternum is reaching forward towards the toes. So we're inviting a little more length into the spine. And then as you breathe out, just let the body soften towards the floor. Remember, you can always deepen the bend in your knees here, so you get to your lower back. One more long breath out, just let the torso get heavy. You contract through your core. Inhale, hands can support you as you carefully draw yourself all the way back up. Once your head lifts up, exhale and roll your shoulders. If you're sitting on some height, move it out of your way. And from here, let's shift forward on the mat so there's more space behind us. And then you can carefully come down onto your back. And once you're on your back, tuck your knees in towards you and rock side to side. The knees in the center. Let's stretch the arms out at shoulder height. You can have palms facing up or down, so find what helps your shoulders settle towards the earth. Now with your knees and your feet together, flex with the ankles, lift the heels up a little bit. Think of shins coming parallel to the ceiling. Fill your lungs up. And then engage your core. Slowly as you exhale, lower your legs to the right. And I want you to tuck as much support as you need underneath your legs so that both shoulders stay on the floor and your lower back doesn't feel strained at all here. You can let your heels slide away from you a little bit. Maybe gazing up towards your left fingertips. And with each inhalation expanding right down into the lower back. And keeping your head to the middle, contracting through your core. As you inhale, carefully draw the legs back to the center. Take a moment here to hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Now, the knees back in the middle, we'll extend the arms again at shoulder height. Knees and feet together, flexing at the ankles and lifting the heels up just a little bit. Start with a deep breath in. And contract your core as you exhale, moving with control. Lower your legs over to the left, adding in whatever support you need under your legs to keep your lower back safe, shoulders settled on the earth. You're welcome to gaze out towards your right fingertips. And then close your eyes and notice your breathing. Drawing your head back to the center. Using your core to support you, we'll inhale the legs back to the middle. Squeezing the knees in, rocking side to side, letting the lower back relax. And from here, I want you to grab whatever you need to keep you warm, a sip of water if you like, and then you can stretch out on your back. As you lay back, I want you to notice how your lower back is feeling. And you're welcome to take a rolled up blanket or some cushions behind your knees, or just stretch your legs out long with your feet wide apart. And then your hands can rest on your belly, or you can extend your arms wide with the palms facing up towards the sky. Might feel nice to gently tilt your head from side to side a few times. Making any other adjustments you need so that your body feels supported and at ease. And with your gaze soft or your eyes closed, let your attention settle within the space of your body. And stay conscious of the rhythm of your breath as it moves naturally in and out. And let each exhale be an invitation to soften a little bit more. Sinking into the support of the floor beneath you. Embracing this time to be still. Take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out. And following your body's intuition, slowly start to move your body. And let those movements gently grow. And carefully make your way over to one side and slowly press up to sitting. Coming into a comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. Invite your attention back into your body. And take a few more moments to be still here and just notice the flow of your breath. Thank you very much for sharing your practice with me.